The United Nations SDG goal number 15 is life on land. But what is life on land all about?
Life on land is broken into four main components. The first component is combating desertification. Desertification is land degradation in typically dry areas resulting from various factors, including climatic variations and human activities. This is caused by overgrazing, drought, deforestation, and poor farming methods that cause soil erosion. This is a terrible crisis because people that rely on farming land to survive cannot get the necessary food. It also leads to an overall loss of biodiversity.
The second component of life on land is land degradation. This is the destruction of the natural resources and landforms on our planet by humans and the industries they control. With increased land degradation, there is less and less fertile soil around the world, which affects farming and changes the lives of many people who rely on agriculture for sustenance.
The third component is sustainably managing forests. Forests are super important to life on land, and in addition to providing food security and shelter, they are key to combating climate change, protecting biodiversity, and the homes of the indigenous populations. By protecting forests, we will also be able to strengthen natural resource management and increase land productivity.
The fourth and final component of life on land is halting biodiversity loss. Biodiversity is a total variety of life in the world or in a particular habitat or ecosystem. Illicit poaching and trafficking of wildlife continues to thwart conservation efforts, with nearly 7,000 species of animals and plants reported in illegal trade involving over 120 countries. This is why 8% of the world's animal species are extinct, and 22% are well on their way.
How does the UN plan on improving life on land?
Target number 1. By 2020, the UN hopes to promote the implementation of sustainable management of all types of forests, halting deforestation, restoring degraded forests, and substantially increasing reforestation globally. Number 2 is taking urgent and significant action to reduce the degradation of natural habitats, halting the loss of biodiversity, and by 2020, protecting and preventing the extinction of threatened species. The third one is mobilizing significant resources from all sources and at all levels to finance sustainable forest management and provide adequate incentives to developing countries to advance such management, including for conservation and reforestation. The fourth and final target is enhancing global support for efforts to combat poaching and the trafficking of protected species, including by increasing the capacity of local communities to pursue sustainable livelihood opportunities. Partners. Which large organizations have teamed up with the United Nations to protect our life on land?
The UN has received much help from organizations across the world such as the IUCN, the UN Red, and the Lion's Share Fund. The Lion's Share Fund, in particular, is an initiative aimed at transforming the lives of animals across the world by asking advertisers to contribute a percentage of their media spend to conservation and animal welfare projects. The Lion's Share will see partners contribute 0.5% of their media spend to the fund for each advertisement they use featuring an animal. Those funds will be used to support animals and their habitats around the world.
Progress. What changes have been made to improve our life on land? Well, in 2018, the deforestation in South America and the rest of the world is still a huge problem that is yet to be resolved. Deforestation still threatens the lives of around 1 billion people across the world. Illicit poaching and trafficking of wildlife continues to thwart conservation efforts, with nearly 7,000 species of animals and plants still reported in illegal trade. In 2016, bilateral ODA in support of biodiversity totaled $7 billion, a decrease of 21% in real terms from 2015. And finally, up to 24 million square kilometers of land have been affected by land degradation, including 19% of cropland, 16% of forest land, 19% of grassland, and 28% of rangeland. Thus, although efforts have been made to preserve life on land, we are not quite there yet.
Critique. The UN has seemed to make some unreasonable goals that have not yet been accomplished. We believe that the deadline set is simply unattainable, as 2020 is only 2 years away. There has definitely been improvement, but the goals are still far too broad. The UN is accused of not making enough holistic goals. The UN doesn't include participatory actions in their goals. That is partly why the goals haven't been that successful as of yet.